Controversial statement said on Saturday Night Live. A massive data leak could affect you if you used to be an AT&T customer. Sony is one step closer to a potential PlayStation 5 Pro. A gorgeous display could be hitting Apple's next iPad. Marvel Studios takes on Overwatch. And can Amazon now scan your palm? This and a whole lot more taking over the headlines of the past week. I'm Jason Greenwald, and this is The Fresh Wire. Hey everyone, hope you're all doing well, and welcome to a special edition of The Fresh Wire. It's on a Sunday, March 31st, 2024, at 10:59 p.m. as I'm recording this. Hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, evening, day, or night, however you are, however you live. I appreciate you tuning in. To everyone that celebrates it, happy Easter and happy Trans Day of Visibility. I appreciate everyone that tunes in every week. I know last week I said I'd be returning to Friday episodes, April Fools. I had a very busy week overall the past several days, and I just now have the time to do it on a Sunday night, Sydney White, and I'm just thankful to be able to do these episodes at all. I appreciate everyone. It really brightens my day to see plays on each of my episodes. Just a little bit of a thing before I go any further. If you are listening to this episode on Google Podcast, well, that's going to be shutting down on April 2nd, where Google will flip the lights off for its podcast app, sending it to its beloved and understandably hated graveyard. There will be some migration over, if there hasn't been already, for moving over to YouTube Music or maybe some other podcast app if you really want to. You know, there's always that sort of way. You should always do your own research. I think my podcast has been on Google Podcasts, so I guess this is now my opportunity to move everything over to YouTube Music. So keep an eye out on that if that's how you listen to my glorious little weekly episodes. But of course, as I start with every episode that something like this happens, I have to go into it as the first major topic. And I have to start out with it. Two highly beloved actors in the entertainment industry have unfortunately passed away. Louis Gossett Jr., Oscar-winning star of An Officer and a Gentleman, passed away at age 87, according to a statement from his family. He won an Emmy for his groundbreaking miniseries, Roots. He was the first black man to win an Oscar for a supporting role in 1983, and he was in numerous different appearances. He played as several historical figures across TV movies, and off-screen he helped found the Eracism Foundation in the 1990s, an organization committed to ending racism, which Gossett spoke of experiencing in Hollywood. In 2010, he was diagnosed with prostate cancer and decided to go public with it. Quote, "To set an example for the large number of African-American men who are victims of this disease because of the comparatively low emphasis in our community on preventive examinations and early treatment," unquote. He remained active and performing well into his 80s, co-starring last year in the movie version of the musical The Color Purple, and a few years prior, the HBO show Watchmen, which he received the last of his 8 Emmy nominations in 2020. He will be deeply, deeply missed. Highly beloved, and yeah, rest in peace. Another person that, again, another beloved actor who was very young in his career, passed away as well. Chance Perdomo, a star in Chilling Adventures of Sabrina and Gen V, the Boys spinover, passed away earlier this week at age 27 as a result of a motorcycle accident. His publicist confirming the news, and it is genuinely heartbreaking. Again, he was known for his roles in Netflix's show Chilling Adventures of Sabrina, and as Andre Anderson in the Boys spinoff series Gen V, and absolutely heartbreaking. He was in a few films in recent years. He was only 27 years old. That's really upsetting. As far as I know, season 2 of Gen V was said to film starting in April, And as far as I know, production has been delayed indefinitely. Of course, he was one of the main characters. I've yet to see the show, but I do recognize that a lot of the bright spots for that show, he has by far been one of the biggest. So for him to be gone is absolutely, absolutely heartbreaking. He will be dearly, dearly missed. It's just absolutely gone too soon. So going into entertainment, I'm only going to do a little bit. This is going to be a very tech-oriented episode. I will say a lot of the show called Quiet on Set came out, and I recognize that I would like to cover it. I watched the show myself, and it's very, of course, eye-opening. And for these people to come out and say what they said, including Drake Bell, is absolutely courageous. Especially, it's horrible what they went through as a kid or teenager. It's horrible. They should have never went through it, and it's stuff that I cannot say in this episode. It's awful. So I would highly recommend to check it out. I think it's on Max. It's an ID show. It's called Quiet on Set, and it's absolutely amazing. But only because of the impact that it has. The history behind it is just heartbreaking, and it really makes me really reevaluate all the shows that I watched when I was younger. It got me emotional even, so I would absolutely recommend checking it out. First topic is a bit of an interesting one. So Saturday Night Live, if you don't know, always starts with a monologue. An NBC classic, been around for decades, and this is a very big monologue. Rami Youssef, I apologize if I say that name wrong, in his monologue, part of a joke, called for a free Palestine and for the release of the hostages taken in the Israel-Hamas war. So, yeah, his monologue starts off that it's the holy month of Ramadan, and this was Saturday night, so that tomorrow is Easter, and going into it that he goes to pray, and that his prayers are complicated, and at some point he says, "Stop the violence, please free the people of Palestine, please, and please free the hostages, all the hostages, please." That's what he said. And then he wrapped up his monologue with a smile. And while you're at it, free Mr. Bojangles, he's a beautiful dog. I'm praying for that dog. So he said it, and it was very, very impactful. He did it. Powerful statement, especially the impact of it. You don't normally hear Free Palestine in a national TV segment. Maybe as protests are, maybe if protesters are seen on some world news program or a local news program, but for someone to directly say it as part of their monologue directly to the audience rather than the news covering protests, it's to the audience. This is what he wants. It's incredibly impactful. It's obviously controversial, but it's impactful. It's impactful. This was like a very big moment, probably for himself. He's been a vocal advocate for peace between Israel and Gaza, wearing an Artist for Ceasefire pin to the Academy Awards. And he just recently, probably part of the reason why he was the host for Saturday Night Live yesterday, was that he just released a new HBO Comedy Central special, not Comedy Central. So he's got a lot of momentum on him, and yeah, this is just very impactful, and big topic that happened, and gives me a good excuse for me to have waited to do my podcast on Sunday. But massive respect to him for just putting this out there. So he got like a huge applause after it too, which is good. As far as I know, it is actually all live. Otherwise, it wouldn't be called Saturday Night Live. Am I right? But it very impactful. It got a lot of applause, and I respect that. But yeah, what I don't respect as we enter the technology segment is AT&T. Now, I will admit, I don't think I was an AT&T customer at the time of this this supposed data leak happened. I say supposed, but it's bad. It is bad. AT&T, I think, has previously suggested, no, none of it's true, none of it's legit. We're still looking at it. But they've acknowledged for the first time that the leak data is real. Keeping in mind, first reports of this leak was in 2021. And, no, well, not the, yeah, I mean, it's bad. TechCrunch notified AT&T of the vulnerability of its encrypted passcodes on Monday. And so days later, they have now completely confirmed it. They've acknowledged it. It's legit. 7.6 million current customers, which is a lot. 65 million former customers is unbelievable. Leaked information, quote, may have included full name, email address, mailing address, phone number, social security number, date of birth, AT&T account number, and passcode, unquote. All that. That's a lot of big stuff. That you could get someone's whole life on there. I don't know if I didn't get like an email. Apparently people were getting either emails or letters. I don't think I was impacted. I don't remember if I, at that time. And now they're saying, email or letter. And yeah, it's big. It is big. I don't know. I don't think I do anything. Even if I was with AT&T at any point, I definitely didn't upload a social security number. I don't know why I would have. I didn't have a phone service. The FAQ, apparently, from somewhere involved with AT&T, says customers can set up free fraud alerts from credit bureaus Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And AT&T says the data set appears to be from 2019 or earlier and does not contain personal financial information or call history, unquote. So, yeah, very bad information. When they say, oh, no financial information or call history, I mean, yeah, you're not wrong if this is all it has, but social security number is unbelievably damaging, especially when it also includes all your info, all of it. This is complete identity theft. I gotta check out. I don't know how I would look at the database. I also have not been notified in all the deep web, dark web, surfing lists. I don't know why I said surfing. Lists that you can sometimes be a part of. I think Google has their own, for example. I have not been notified. With that being said, I definitely have to talk to my parents and see if they were. We haven't gotten a letter, but I don't look at their email, so maybe they got an email. I'll have to check it out. I mean, that's a lot of people. 65 million former customers. If they were with AT&T, they could have been formerly. So I definitely have to. I've also decided that most of what I want to talk about with AI, I think I've decided I'm going to move it to the former futurology section. Now, don't worry. I'll bring it back eventually. Just so much is happening with AI that I feel like I can't really mix it in at this point. It's got to be its own. And what should be also its own section that might not be as much of a section as you would hope for, but rather more integrated, are what Discord is calling quests. And what those seem to be is it will allow people to earn in-game sponsored items by completing quests while friends watch in Discord. So the sponsored quests by Discord are coming next week in full value. It's in a way advertises for gamers. Wall Street Journal says it's probably a way to boost revenue, and maybe it is. And it seems like Discord has said before users will be able to turn off the ads in their settings. Keep in mind, you don't really see ads in Discord itself, so this could be a very integrated way to start doing that. But the fact that it is still optional means, well, I guess they're not ready to have their platform ruined. Good. So back into keeping on with social media, but rather more Apple. You see what I did there? It seems like a big report from Bloomberg came out that suggests that iPad Pros are finally getting their successor, and it's soon, and it's going to look real nice. Reportedly, they will arrive in early May, and it's the OLED iPad Pro, along with a larger iPad Air. The sources say it'll feature the new in-house M3 chip, which has just started appearing in computers, Apple books, MacBooks specifically, but they're very capable. They're very good, and they have what's called AV1 decoding, which is really nice. If you want to learn more about that, you can do your own research. But AV1 encoding is genuinely, I think, the future of video encoding and how we get all of our videos and live streams in a royalty-free way that does not impact anyone, or at least it shouldn't. But with the iPad Air, that's also expected to be announced, it's rumored to come with the last generation M2 chip, still very capable, and a larger 12.9-inch option. So these would both be getting their step up. The current iPad Pro has the M2 chip. The Air has a lowly M1 chip. I think it has been around since 19 or so. So it's actually been nearly 2 years since Apple released an updated iPad. Come to think of it, I am realizing that I don't remember seeing an iPad announced last year. So that is, I think, legitimate. Bloomberg says the company initially planned on launching the new devices at the end of March or in April. Apple had to take extra time to finish software for the devices, considering it is their first new iPad in almost 2 years. That might not actually be wrong. This would come ahead of WWDC, so like the developer conference for Apple software, which Apple has set for June 10th. I'm not an iPad user. I do have an Android tablet that I may or may not a newer option for it because it's getting a little long in the tooth. It's an Amazon one, or a Fire tablet specifically, but it won't be an iPad. I'm an Android user through and through. For all the Android users. Yeah. So we're just going to go right into a completely random subject. The PS5 Pro, I've been talking about in recent weeks. Very, starting to get hyped up a bit, and it's starting to look like what happened with the PlayStation 4 Pro in some good ways and some bad ways. Specifically, a good way, at least hopefully. Sony, according to documents seen by Insider Gaming, Sony will use a new PS5 Pro Enhanced label to tell players which games will take advantage of the console's new abilities. Mind you, the console's new abilities suggest something like a PS5 Pro graphics mode, which will include PSSR, which is some super sampling, super resolution, upscaling, native upscaling technology that will allow for 4K upscaling, a constant 60 frames per second mode, and added or improved ray tracing. So, again, very basic stuff that you would hope is included with a mid-gen upgrade, but it doesn't seem like anything special. Improved ray tracing would be nice, but I think from what I read, the PS5 could be like 3 times as many teraflops, which, more teraflops should be a good thing. That's why the PS4 did so well, and not because of much better exclusive titles. But it's unknown if this is even going to release at all, and I cannot wait for them to announce it and be done with it. What is also being done with is the final season of Rooster Teeth's Red vs. Blue. Now, if you don't know, Rooster Teeth, which was owned by Warner Bros. Discovery, shut down earlier this month, and it was very big devastation. I guess low views, and the main thing, Warner Bros. Discovery, going to some catchier thing that doesn't have as much of a nostalgic fan base, even though they were still making good content from what I read. But now they are able to complete the story. Red vs. Blue Restoration will be available for purchase May 7th, and it is the 19th and final season being released as a movie. So if you wanted to see it, the trailer's out. It looks pretty good. If you're a fan of Red vs. Blue, this is the last new content you may ever get. Darn, that's going to be sad. Another leak from earlier, but this is not Sony, but actually Microsoft. Microsoft and the leaks for a dynamic duo a few months ago. The whole FTC trade leak documents was insane, and it indicated that there was going to be a refresh of the Xbox Series X, and it would be rounded and with no disk drive, but more storage, I think. Yes, 2 terabytes instead of 1. Well, leaks of an actual product have came out, and you can tell it's different because while it is white, a very uncommon color for the Xbox Series X, the main color for the Series S, well, it looks like the same white on the Xbox Series S, but no disk drive. The obvious thing that sticks out. A news source, Xputer, claimed last month that this white Xbox Series X could arrive in June or July, priced at $50 to $100 less than the current $499 retail price of the Xbox Series X. So, if that's the case, it could be that because this refreshed, rounded Xbox Series X looks to be releasing, I think, late this year, that might have been in the leak, for them to release this one so soon, May or June or July specifically, would suggest the company has canceled or pushed back the refreshed version. So, very interesting. They were tentatively planning to ship what they called codename Brooklyn in November at the same $499 price point. If this is cheaper, then I consider that a good thing, although no Type-C port in the front, and it's probably going to be the same exact size. It is a bit of a letdown, but it would suggest that maybe Microsoft isn't as all in into this refresh of a Xbox Series X than anticipated. Unlike to the degree that Sony has done with their slimmer PS5, which Microsoft hasn't done yet, and there's no leaks of that, except for this refresh one that I guess they're not going to do. Few more topics, because a whole lot of AI. Some good, some bad. Here's a interesting one. Marvel Rivals is a mix of Overwatch and superhero battles. So, Marvel recently announcing a bunch of new games, one of them being Marvel Rivals, a 6v6 hero shooter that combines the best of action games from Marvel, like Ultimate Alliance, but also the big one I mentioned earlier. Valorant is another one, but Overwatch. And it looks like a very interesting mix of Overwatch and Marvel. It really does. It's in development for PC and will be free to play, and even will feature a destructible environment, allowing you to alter the battlefield in your favor. So how good would this be? No idea. But I did sign up for, I think that's a closed alpha, or they're beta testing, whatever. So the moment that comes out and I'm invited, I will definitely check it out. Maybe I'll let you guys. What I'm also going to let you guys know is something you've probably seen all the ads and commercials, but Disney Plus. Just saying that, you could probably know what I'm talking about. Hulu on Disney Plus. They've now updated their logo to a more greenish hue kind of logo, and it's pretty clear why. Disney Plus is adding Hulu, green, blue. There you go, blue, green, whatever you mean. It's a pretty big simplification too, because it's no longer the different shades of blue on the line on top of it all. Now it's just that's a little but yeah, it's a tiny thing. Still a little upset that they're going to start activating blocking password sharing, but not as upset as this next topic that I have to mention. Peacock, if you don't know, is NBC's paid streaming service where there's a bunch of different content everywhere. It's insane. Wow. What they did also last season, and this directly affected me, was have some games exclusive to Peacock. There might have been 3. There was at least 1. No. There was 2 total. And the second one was the AFC wildcard game with my beloved team falling apart. And Peacock is going further with it, and the first regular season game for NFL will be in Brazil, but it'll be on September 6th on Peacock exclusively. So that's not good. It didn't help that the AFC wildcard game was, quote, the most streamed event ever in the U.S., and now that. Now, luckily, they already confirmed it will feature the Eagles, and I don't think the Miami Dolphins are playing the Eagles next season. I might be misremembering. But, yeah, this is a big, unfortunate situation. I have Peacock, luckily, but it's just annoying. I would like to see it over the air, even if I do have Peacock, because it's the least latency. But whatever. Whatever. I mean, I'll end up watching it anyway unless I lose Peacock. I'll try not to care, even as a huge NFL fan. So onwards to the AI section, and it's looking, I've got actually more AI topics than I anticipated, so that's why it's going to be its own section. So like I said, when I wanted to mix multiple topics, but there's just too much, it becomes difficult. So we're going to start right into actually a pretty big surprise. thanks to the internet bullying Google, Google will let the Pixel 8 have on-device AI after all. In December, Google announced Gemini Nano as its mobile-optimized large language model, so it can be a chatbot and help things out with you, saying it would be a core part of Android in the future. But in its own device lineup, only the Pixel 8 Pro was able to use it. They have the same exact chipset, and Google said that the Pixel 8 wasn't getting it at first because of, quote, hardware limitations. From what I read later on, it seems like Google may have figured it out to a degree, saying it's going to be a developer option and not more so an option that's so integrated. From what I read, there's a possibility that because the Pixel 8 has less RAM than the Pixel 8 Pro, what I remember reading, I think it was by a Google person, that once Gemini Nano is on, it can't be turned off. It has to be memorized, it has to be saved in the RAM, which could theoretically increase battery life too, which would suck. But actually a very big deal that they're allowing it to be on at all, but this could indicate they might see battery life actually be deeply affected or slow down or less multitasking capability. Because as of now, the next Pixel feature drop will power on-device recorder summaries and smart replies in Gboard now on the Pixel 8. So if you turn this on and that's always running, that's not a crazy amount of use, but victory is a victory, and I'm glad it's an option, especially when that's the current model they sell now. It's insane. And a little more on phone AI. If you have a recent Samsung smartphone, including the Galaxy S23 series, Galaxy AI is here. The Galaxy S23 phones, including the FE, I think, the Tab S9 tablets, the Z Flip 5, and the Z Fold 5 have all recently released with an update to One UI 6.1. I think it's the same Android version, but it introduces a bunch of new features that are based on Google AI or Galaxy AI or whatever AI. This includes a lot of the AI features that were on the Galaxy S24 series at launch, which includes circle to search and live language translation for phone calls. It's all free, but just a little reminder, Samsung seems to only be promising that these features are free to the end of 2025. So you're not even going to have these confirmed for 2 years. Be careful with that. Just be careful with that. That's why it's not the main reason why I haven't upgraded, but I am hoping from what I read that there's a possibility that the Galaxy S22 will get the AI features. I think everyone's going to get One UI 6.1 if you're always going to, just not all the features, which is a normal smartphone thing. There's going to be new features in every new phone, even if they're software exclusive. So hopefully it doesn't screw me over, but I think they've already confirmed that the S22 phones will not get it, which is ironic because from what I remember reading, the Galaxy S23 FE has the same processor as the Galaxy S22, which makes it a big question of why. You're saying the S22 Ultra can't get it, but the cheaper S23 FE can. Very weird. And hopefully they figure things out and not do this for financial greed. Unfortunately, I'm worried about the latter being what's happened. What's also something I'm going to worry about is the capability of what's called voice generation by OpenAI, saying they only need a 15-second sample to power the voice, to make a voice from that 15 seconds. If the model's been in development since late 2022, around the time ChatGPT launched, and it powers the read aloud feature in ChatGPT, which is very interesting. So, of course, there's always going to be controversy that where's this AI capability coming from, and can this be easily manipulated? Hence why it's not, I think, easily accessible just yet. So, well, when this comes out, but this could be pretty cool. Keeping in mind also, to, a little bit of a hint for when you receive maybe AI-generated content. OpenAI also added watermarking to the audio clips to trace their origin and actively monitor how the audio is used. That's pretty cool. That is actually pretty cool. And OpenAI says its partners agreed to abide by its usage policies that say they will not use voice generation to impersonate people or organizations without their consent. So, pretty impactful. I'm scared of it. Hopefully it doesn't release in an easily accessible format this year, 2024 election and whatnot. And the last thing, Amazon. This was the weird one, and I wanted to bring this home at the end. There is now a palm recognition system directly from your phone by Amazon, a palm scanning service. It's a new Amazon One app, and you can use it to take a photo of your palm and set up your account, allowing you to start scanning your palm at locations that support the verification tech. That's oddly really weird. And previously, this Amazon One program, you had to visit a physical location. Amazon required users to visit physical locations to enroll in Amazon One, which lets you make a purchase or verify your age based on the palm print linked to your Amazon account. So this actually used to be a thing, but now it's like even more of a thing. Amazon One uses generative AI to analyze your palm vein structure to create a, quote, unique numerical vector representation, unquote, of your palm that it recognizes when you scan your hand in store. It doesn't use raw palm images. Interesting. AI, near infrared imagery. So some big privacy concerns giving up your palm to Amazon to a degree, I guess, if they don't score keep the raw images. But I guess that's what they do. Definitely hope I don't have to do that, but if I have to, I hope it's recognized as safe. But that'll be it for me. Thank you all for tuning in. I really do appreciate everyone that tunes in. I always speak out loud whatever I want, whenever I can, and I appreciate everyone that recognizes that and listens. Thank you. And make sure to check out all my previous episodes. You can do that on your podcast app, just searching up The Freshwire. It's one word. But also on thefreshwire.com. I recently renewed my web hosting for that site, so please check it out and support it. Yeah, however way you can. I plan to launch social media soon. And yeah, thank you all for listening. That'll be it for me. Take care of yourselves and have a gosh darn good one.